If you took the richest billionaires on the planet, the ones whose combined net worth equals the wealth of the poorest 3.5 billion people, they would comfortably fit inside a single double-decker bus. World leaders across the global political spectrum have flagged this widening gap between the haves and the have-nots as a defining challenge of our time. This chart tracks the top 1%'s income share compared to print mentions of income inequality. As top wealth climbed steadily from the 1970s, our cultural obsessions spiked alongside it. Faced with this data, we generally lean on a comforting assumption that we can reverse the trend through democratic reform, tax policy, and better education. But when we strip away modern optimism and look back across thousands of years of human civilization, a different pattern emerges. For most of human history, material inequality was actively suppressed. Early hunter-gatherer groups, like the modern Hadza people seen here, maintained egalitarian societies by neutralizing anyone who tried to assert dominance or hoard food. That balance changed with the invention of farming. Agriculture allowed humans to produce surpluses, which inevitably led to hoarding, property rights, and early state hierarchies. Once established, these hierarchies reliably funnel wealth upward. In Victorian England, the richest tenth of households held 92% of all private wealth, crowding out nearly everyone else. Extreme economic stratification is the historical default state of human civilization. This system functions specifically to concentrate resources, forcing us to ask what it actually takes to break it. Across recorded history, the only forces that have significantly compressed the gap between rich and poor are massive catastrophic shocks. Historian Walter Scheidel identifies them as the four horsemen of leveling. The first horseman is mass mobilization warfare. Industrial conflicts like the World Wars destroyed elite capital, forcing governments to enact confiscatory taxes. Meanwhile, the physical destruction of factories, supply chains, and real estate wiped out generations of concentrated assets. These wartime pressures spawned the second horseman, transformative revolution. Communist uprisings utilized the chaos to violently expropriate elite property. Utilizing extreme violence and state force, these movements dismantled traditional economic hierarchies and redistributed land and capital on a massive scale. The third horseman is state failure. Because elite wealth relies on state protection, the total collapse of a government strips the rich of the monopolies and legal shields that keep them in power. And the fourth horseman is lethal pandemics. This graph illustrates how the Black Death altered the economy. When disease wipes out the population, the price of labor changes. As labor becomes scarce, workers gain leverage to demand higher wages, shrinking the gap between those who work and those who own. These four historical mechanisms share one trait: they rely on immense human suffering and mass death to reset the economic scales. Following World War II, many developed nations experienced the Great Compression, an era of prosperity we often remember as the norm. But inequality is skyrocketing today because the historical forces that suppressed it, global wars, the threat of communism, and massive top tax rates, are now dormant. This graph maps the impact of different leveling methods over time. Benign alternatives like peaceful land reform, macroeconomic crises, and democracy alone have never successfully leveled society in the historical record. As we attempt to regulate and tax our way out of the current billionaire crisis, we are attempting something with virtually no historical precedent. History leaves us with a stark challenge. We must invent a peaceful mechanism of leveling, or wait for the violent four to return.